What's the deal? Welcome back to Streams. This is your host, Red Karan, man. It's been a minute. Um, I'm inspired. I got a weekend to myself with no responsibilities, so I wanted to get in here and record a little bit of content, you know what I'm saying? Um, let's just get to it. I recently saw, um, I was watching some clips from a stream that Plaqueboy Max did with Yachty over the I think it was, I don't know if it was last weekend or over this past week or whatever, but I did see a bunch of clips. It looked like they had fun. This is right after Plaqueboy Max did a stream with Lil Baby and V's that I also was watching clips of. And if you don't know who these people are, Plaqueboy Max is a streamer who is on Twitch, I believe, and maybe YouTube. I don't know where his main audience is, because I don't really watch streamers. I think streamers are cool. I think they make pretty cool content. I like the fact that they're able to pull these big names in and get all of this sort of content that you wouldn't get otherwise, because where else would you see V's and Lil Baby in the studio, you know, listening to beats, potentially writing songs, and kind of just kicking the shit. It's kind of different from your traditional interview. So I think that space is a cool space, especially for hip hop and these new niggas that's coming up in this game, to be seen in a different light, or, you know, to get some sort of exposure to a side of the internet that they probably wouldn't have otherwise, you know, and not in that way at least. Plaqueboy Max is this, he makes beats, and he might be a rapper or some shit too, because I think he got songs with DDG, who is also another big streamer. And or do they got, I might be confusing that shit, or them niggas was beefed out or something. One of the two. I don't really keep up with that shit, man. I'm cool on that, right? But I saw clips from the Lil Yachty stream that he did recently. And just in passing, right, I was looking at this post that had like multiple clips in like slides that you could just swipe through, and I was watching multiple clips. And in one of the clips, he says something about George Floyd in his, like, he's playing a song for Plaqueboy Max. I think he was just on there previewing a bunch of music, because he showed a little bit of Concrete Boys, their upcoming next group album or whatever. Concrete Boys is Lil Yachty's group. And I saw a clip where he said something about George Floyd in a bar, and I was kind of like, that's kind of fucked up. But the post wasn't in the context of, you know, pointing out the bar. It was just a post showing stuff, right? And I went to the comments, and a comment that stuck out to me over the last couple of days was a guy that said, that George Floyd line is going to ruin him. Mark my words, right? And I read that, and I looked at some of the people that replied to him, and they were basically all echoing the sentiment that was distasteful, and he shouldn't have said that shit or whatever, right? So I put my phone down or whatever. I scrolled some more, and I kind of go on about my day. And I was like, I kind of think so too. I know something is going to come of this. Now, mind you, this is like 3 days ago, 2-3 days ago or something. I saw this, and there was no rumblings about that line yet. It was just out there, right? And there was a little bit of conversations being had in comment sections. Today, I woke up, going to work, and I saw the first thing that I saw was, I can't remember whose post that I saw first, but later in the day, I saw this post here.
And I'm winning. I'm just trying not to pay attention to you idiots, man. But like, it's just hard, bro. Like, Lil Yachty, bro. You been whack, my nigga. But you think you saying George Floyd name and trying to use his name in a bar that's gonna make people like your whack ass music, my nigga? That shit weak. Y'all the only era that feel like demeaning the dead and saying that shit is cool, my nigga. It ain't. And it's me and the whole third ward and the whole Houston, Texas riding behind G, man. Don't ever say his name, bro. Y'all, none of y'all knew G. Nothing about him. But y'all want to say his name for clout. Put a knee up on his neck. I do joke. That's some weak ass shit, Yachty. But let somebody die in your family. We gonna do a whole skit about it and see how funny it is, bro. Cut that shit out, man. It's only you whack Sambo ass niggas that do shit like that. Stop the.
Yeah, and I'm gonna play the line.
Wait for it. ITSUS, I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck, I went George Floyd. I be tweaking, she get wet, she gon' wait for me. Wait for it. Wait for it.
I'm gonna play it again. I just accidentally looped it perfectly. That's the producer in me. One more time.
ITSUS, I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck, I went George Floyd.
Let's listen to that shit one more time. Let's listen to it one more time.
Wait for it. ITSUS, I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck, I went George Floyd. I be tweaking, she get wet, she gon' wait for me. Wait for it. Wait for it. All this gold up on my neck, it's a sunshine. Her my name said on her app, fuck it one time. One time. One time. Fuck it one time. Fuck it one time. Told her bring that pussy back, that shit fun size. ITUS on the map, make her come down.
Now, ooh-wee. Man, these niggas is on some different type of time, bro. I don't get it, right? But let me give my little dissertation to explain to you how my mind is approaching this situation, right? I am kind of an old nigga now, bro. I'm almost unk status if I'm not already unk status, right? You know, I'm in my mid 30s, going into my late 30s. Probably in 3 months or 2 months. I'm sorry. I'll be 37 years old, right? Yachty been out for a minute now. He's probably been out for like 7, 8 years, where he's been, you know, big enough to where he's been in the pop culture conversation. In my journey through music, because in my heart of hearts, I'm kind of like a purist when it comes to rap, to hip hop. I like rappers. I like lyricists. I like structure. I like substance in my music, right? Historically. And I was like, in my younger years, which is kind of backwards, I was very uptight about that. Very strict about who I listened to, who I entertained, and what type of rap I accepted or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Not that I'm anybody special or, you know, I don't have a ranking position in a record label or anything, so it's not like it matters, but just to give you context of my relationship with these type of niggas, like, all right? So when I was younger, my favorite rappers was people like Royce the 5'9", Lupe, you know, I was listening to a lot of Slaughterhouse, I was listening to Eminem, I was listening to, you know, I listened to everything back then. Like, I was listening to Jay-Z, I was listening to Nas, I was listening to some Wayne. Shit, you know, it was a lot of people that I was listening to, from Ross to Meek, Wale. The list goes on, right? And there's varying positions on the spectrum in terms of, like, who was purist hip-hop and who was lyricist and who was making turn-up music or who was just making straight bar rap, right? But I lean more towards the bars. I was a purist in the sense that nigga turn on Lil Yachty or nigga turn on Future in 2013, I didn't want to hear that shit. I'm like, this shit is stupid. I don't know what they talking about. These niggas is mumbling. You know, that was the mumble rap era when niggas was downing all the younger niggas for not being able to really enunciate their words. They was making music about more lax subjects or content, you know, matters and shit like that. And I was totally against it. As I got older, I reflected, right? And I looked internally and I started to sort of soften up a bit, because I was like, why do I have this stance where I automatically reject these new artists in this mumble era, whether it was, you know, Rich Homie Quan and all them niggas, Young Thug came out, whoever it was, I was like, I don't want to hear that shit. And I was automatically rejecting it, right? And I remember at the time I was with my girl and my ex, and she sort of had a different taste than me, the opposite taste than me. She was listening to the younger niggas, and she was listening to music for the sake of having fun, right? Whereas I approach music in a sense like it was all about the message and the importance of the message. And I wasn't interested in the fun side of the music because I was so serious and I was so, starkly opposed to those fun records. It just seemed like some bullshit to me. I got older and I softened up and I started noticing that I liked a lot of the shit that these new niggas was making. I remember the first time I heard Future for real, besides I like Future back early on because he released Lights Off or Lights On or whatever the name of that fucking song was. And I noticed then that he had a really nice pen. But in general, I didn't really give a fuck about Future like that, right? But then I remember being at this venue in Detroit with my nigga Harden, and they turned on this song called Shit, and they was playing it, and he turned up. And this is a nigga that's also like purist hip hop. He listens to rap in the same way that I did. So when I looked over, this is sort of like freshly into our friendship. I'd only known him for like a year or two, right? And they turned on this song called Shit by Future. Go look it up. He goes crazy. He starts turning up, the nigga jumping, and I ain't never seen him act like this. Because he's sort of reserved and quiet like me. My nigga C. Harden. But when he went crazy for the song, I was kind of like, what is this nigga on? Why? Like, he into this type of shit? But, I didn't say nothing out loud, and it wasn't like I was judging him, but I took note of it, right? So it was like, well, you could be a purist, you could really like lyricists, and you could still like the fun shit too. I took note of it. I'm learning, right? So as I get older, I started listening to Future. I started paying attention to Thug. And sort of in my secret alone time. And I'm like, let me see what these niggas is talking about. And I started noticing, like, a lot of this shit going. A lot of this shit go. Fast forward to 2025, and I'm like totally off my high horse. I listen to everything, bro. Young niggas, I listen to we talking about Baby Drill, we talking about Yachty, we talking about whoever, we talking about all the Chicago niggas I was listening to back then. I started exploring further out from the purest side of hip hop into the more street shit, the young niggas shit, the fun rap. Shit, my ex took me to see Future and Meek Mill in concert. I had a blast. And my taste started to develop a little bit. Fast forward to today, one of my favorite albums of this year is Plaqueboy Carti. Like, I don't give a fuck, man. The album is hard. Don't nobody know what he's talking about? I don't care. I don't got time to spend my entire life being overly serious about something as lighthearted as music is. Music comes in many different shades and colors, right? I say all of that to say I love Lil Yachty. I fucks with him. He's a weird new nigga. He does a lot of things that I don't agree with. He paints his nails. He says things that I don't agree with all the time, right? But if I lived my life judging everyone based on the things that they say that I don't agree with, then I would have to not fuck with anybody. Because all of you niggas say things that I don't agree with. That goes to my cousins, my friends, my girlfriends, my mama, my dad, my sister, my sons say things that I don't agree with, right? And one thing that I learned over the last 5, 6, 7 years is that cancel culture shit is a moot point. It is a empty, deflated argument. It is not real. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. You cannot cancel anyone. R. Kelly is not canceled. You might not like him. You might feel strongly about the things that he's done. But guess what? If the internet has taught me anything, there's an audience for everything. And I do mean everything. There's an audience for it. If you're anti-Trump, there are tens of millions of people that disagree with you. If you are pro-Trump, there are tens of millions of people that disagree with you. If you're a purist in hip-hop, tens, hundreds of millions of people that disagree with you. And they go and they listen to music purely to dance and get fucked up. If you are on that side of the spectrum, there are hundreds of millions of people that don't want to hear none of that Future Lil Yachty shit. No Lil Baby. They don't want to hear 4-2 Doug. They don't want to hear V's. They don't want to hear Babyface Ray. They don't want to hear Y&J. You know what I'm saying? So, when I read the comment that said, this is going to ruin them, I only agreed in the sense that I knew people would have things to say. I knew there would be commentary. I knew that there would be a swelling of, outrage. Let's just use outrage. I knew that there would be a swelling up in the next few days after I saw the initial clip. And I think, oops, wrong click. I just want to play this song again. I think it's totally ridiculous that he said this, right? Let me just make that clear. I think this is ridiculous. I think this.
Wait for it. I test you as I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd.
He said break the bank for it. I'm a rapper, right? I've been doing music for 23 years now, right? 23, 24 years. I'm a rapper. I can think of easily a dozen lines to fit into that space that would have rhymed just as well without disparaging someone else's name and making light of a tragedy. No matter what you think went down that day with George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, it doesn't matter. Somebody died. That is the bottom line. The bottom line is that somebody died. You know, Derek Chauvin is in jail right now. And there was the whole thing that happened around that event. It happened. It's over, right? The bottom line is that somebody died. Why say that? And then the line doesn't even make sense. I've had plenty of sex. I've never in my life put my knee on a woman's neck. I don't know if he meant in the context of sex, but I just assumed. Let's play it again.
Wait for it. I test you as I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd.
I put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd. I just assume he means in a sexual connotation. I don't know what it means. If you tell me, I don't know what that means. I've never put my knee on any woman's neck. I've never done that. You know, I ain't never had no sex like that. I've never had a conflict with a woman that required me to do that. I don't know when you would put your knee on a woman's neck. I don't know when you put your knee on anyone's neck, which is what the entire outrage of the situation with George Floyd is about. Now, Steven Jackson came out, said what he said. Steven Jackson knew George Floyd personally. And, you know, I don't understand what these rappers go through to get them in this position where they are sort of out of touch with like the texture of pop culture and what's acceptable and what isn't. Like when Lil Wayne said he beat the pussy up like Emmett Till, or said the line about Rodney King, he beat it like a cop. Or like when Rick Ross said, put the Molly in her drink, she didn't even know it, I enjoyed that, whatever. That's crazy. That's mind-blowingly stupid. All of those things. Why say it? Why? It's better ways to be clever than to go for shock value and to mock someone's death or misfortune. Lil Wayne wrote a bar. Mind you, Lil Wayne was a drug addict, or still is, sipping lean, doing whatever he does. So he might have just been out of his fucking mind. But bro, what? What you on, bro? What are you on? He wrote a line, said he beat the pussy up like Emmett Till, gang. Let me. I really hate to do this shit, right? But let's look at this real quick. I really do hate to do this. And this is a trigger warning for anyone that is squeamish or sensitive about these subjects. But I just want to give context to this, right? As a rapper, there we go. All right, bet. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up this page. I apologize. As a rapper, you are so hungry for a bar that will land with people, right? You're so hungry for that you're willing to write a bar that disparages a 14 or 15-year-old boy that was beaten repeatedly, lynched, drowned, mutilated, dismembered, disfigured, to the point where his face, looks like this. You're so steadfast on trying to be shocking and captivating with your music that you make fun of this. You beat the pussy up like Emmett Till. Just think about that. That is a boy laying in a casket in front of his mama. Right? That's a boy. This is the remains of a boy laying in a casket after what was done to him by a bunch of grown-ass, racist-ass white men. Jesus Christ. And all of that, you make fun of this. for a bar in a song that will be around forever. This is the digital era. The song will not go away. It's over. You put it out, it's out. Lil Yachty can choose not to put that song out, but it doesn't matter. He already streamed it to millions of people. We got it. It's never going away. So you will be the guy responsible for making a metaphoric bar about a nigga being choked, theoretically, in the street by a police officer with his knee on his neck. The reason I say theoretically is because there are still plenty of people that don't believe that that's what happened. So I'm only leaving room for the doubters. But regardless, the optics say, the court of law say, Derek Chauvin choked that man with his knee, right? You will be known as the guy forever that said that line. Rick Ross will be the guy forever that said the line about date raping a woman. Lil Wayne will forever be the guy that made the line about this little boy. There's no taking that shit back. Which is exactly my point. That is exactly my point as to why we need to be careful about the way that we conduct ourselves on this fucking internet, bro. It's not going away. You on here twerking, you 23 and lit, it's your birthday, and you naked on this bitch. I know girls personally, right now, naked on the internet. Regular girls that just one day decided, it's my birthday, bitch. I'm getting naked for the internet, bitch. But there's going to be a day you're going to be 63. There's going to be a day you're going to be 53. Are you still going to feel that way? Those pictures still going to be in my phone, though. I tell you that right now. Let's pull up this video. Let's pull up this video right quick. Because apparently Lil Yachty did talk to Steven Jackson, and he did apologize.
Morning, world. Hope everybody getting off to a good start. Hey, to all the blogs and shows that's calling me about the Lil Yachty George Floyd situation. Some of y'all don't respect because y'all never have content. All y'all do is look for mess. Some of y'all do. I won't be doing no interviews about it. I spoke to him. He's a smart young man. He's winning for a reason. He's a super smart individual. He made a mistake. He apologized. We moved on from it. It's over with. That's what y'all want us. Jumping on these shows, talking about each other, feuding and, you know what I'm saying, dumb shit, clown shit, because y'all ain't got no content. We don't do that at all the smoke. We never clout chasing. We still winning. We leave that to the drunk shows. All right? So peep this. Won't be doing no interviews. He gonna keep winning. He gonna keep doing his thing. We gonna meet up. He made a mistake. Let it go. Stop calling my phone. New company though. Sneaker Candy. New kicks coming out. We gonna have socks, hats, shoes, all kind of shit.
Sneaker Candy. I'm not interested in that right now, but I also don't want to stop his promo. That's a smart way to promote because everybody's looking at Steven Jackson right now. But, I just want to point out that he did apologize. He spoke to Steven Jackson, which I think is some real nigga shit to do. Now, with all of that being said, like I said, I fucks with Yachty. I said that 10, 15 minutes ago. I fuck with Yachty. I think this is a misstep. I don't believe in cancel culture. There's no such thing. Niggas can be mad at a nigga all you want to. You could be... Oh, I see an email with Cash App on it. I thought that was some money. They talking about I can borrow some money. Yeah, bitch, but am I going to have to pay that shit back with interest? But anyway, I don't believe in cancel culture. I think that's corny. I think it's overly sensitive, and I think that's the way that our society has gone over the last 10 years. All of this liberal shit with we trying to cancel everybody who says anything that is distasteful or anything that isn't family friendly or Christian based. People are people. We are all experiencing this human experience. We all are capable of making mistakes. None of us are perfect. None of us are walking the line without ever straying off of that motherfucker. I am a fucked up individual in many ways. I enjoy looking at women that are naked, that are not naked. I enjoy a lot of things that are not very Christian, you know. I've done a lot of fucked up things in my life. I've made plenty of mistakes. I still owe some people an apology. And some people owe me an apology too. I don't believe in cancel culture. I think people are capable of making mistakes. I think this is a pretty stupid mistake, but it is just a mistake. Lil Yachty didn't go on the internet, as far as I know. I didn't look, right? But the first thing that I saw was that he spoke directly to Steven Jackson and apologized to the man that was friends with George Floyd. That's some real nigga shit. He didn't go on the internet and say, oh, you pussy ass old nigga. No. He called the nigga, hey, look, bro, I was fucking rapping. Who knows what he said? I was fucking rapping. I was in the mood. I didn't think about how that would affect people. I apologize. Steven Jackson said he went from calling him a whack-ass nigga, corny-ass music, to saying, man, he a real nigga. It's over. That's man shit. You can go from saying what you feel about a nigga to changing your perspective because the way a nigga conducted itself, therefore, forward, or whatever the word would be. That's all I got to say, man. You get the point. Appreciate you for listening to me this far. Lil Yachty fucked up, but real niggas can recognize their mistakes and they can correct that shit, man. Holla at me.